Danny Green, former Tar Heel, current Tar Heel, I guess.
Yeah, always a Tar Heel.
And 4-year player in Chapel Hill, and now a member of the San Antonio Spurs, 2009 national champion.
Yes.
And 2014 NBA
NBA.
champion.
Yes.
Yeah, so I want to go back kind of to your recruitment to UNC.
Okay.
What was it like being recruited by Roy Williams and the staff, and what kind of drew you to North Carolina?
Oh, man, I was a fan since I was a kid. So I never thought the day I'd ever be recruited, that high of a level, Division I, or by a school like North Carolina. So I went to ABCD camp 2 years in a row, basically. So the year before, I did pretty well, but I wasn't getting highly recruited. I was mid-level, mid-major, some higher Division I. But, I had St. John's on the list, maybe NC State, Pittsburgh, and then randomly NC State, which was random. But the first following year, went to ABCD again, another elite camp you get invited to. Did really well, and that's when, Coach Robinson and Coach Williams were there, I think, and they were recruiting me. And once they started recruiting me, it was a very easy decision for me. They came into my house and had a visit and sat down with me and my family. And I came here for a visit. Said it was easy for me to decide. Once they started recruiting me, I always knew I wanted to be, a Tar Heel.
Did you commit pretty soon after the official
visit?
As
soon as he came to my house that night, or next day or that night, I was like, Coach, I really want to come. And then we kind of made it official later on. And then I came here for late night, for my official visit during the year, during the school year, early in the year. But at that point, I was already committed. And, me, Bob, I think Marcus and Tyler were here. We had most of us guys here as freshmen for late night.
What was that recruiting class like? I mean, and obviously you spent 4 years with all those guys, Bobby, Tyler, and Marcus. What was that connection you had with those guys, those four?
Oh, man.
And those 4 years?
Obviously, at first, you're still young guys, and you're competing against each other. We had a whole new team in because after 2005, they won the championship. A lot of guys left. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of rebuilding, and it's pretty much us. Us, the freshmen, and, some other guys that, still left behind, and, some juniors, seniors that were left. But it was pretty much us, the new team. And we bonded very well. At first, obviously, so many different personalities from different parts of the country. Mm-hmm. But, Tyler, was a little quiet. Marcus was the social guy. Bob, very quirky, but, smart and on his toes all the time, had jokester. And then I'm from New York, so it was very different. But we got along very well. And over the years, we grew up together and became, the closest of friends. We lived together for more like 3 or 4 years by the time we were here.
And kind of back to some of the more memorable moments of your UNC career. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the win at Duke your freshman season to ruin Sheldon Williams and JJ Redick.
Senior night.
What was that like?
Oh, man.
That three.
Yeah, big. Tyler was great, man. He was amazing. Everybody played well, obviously, but Tyler was great, man, throughout the whole 4 years. But he was the reason why we won some big games, especially our freshman year. But we were lucky enough. I've been lucky enough to ruin some senior nights at Duke and Cameron. And to not lose in that building is an amazing accomplishment. We had so much fun in that building and playing on that floor. And Bill beat that team, obviously, the Rivalry team, Rivalry school right up the road. But that senior night was a special one. It was the first one that we got to win against a big team as freshmen. So we'll beat, JJ, Sheldon. I think they had Lee, Melchior. They had a bunch of guys that were really good. Yeah. And, it was a big win for us, even the years after that, too. But that started kind of us kind of bonding together and being a real team. Yeah,
and then obviously there's two. I mean, you're known for like winning and championships and all that stuff, but the two things I think most UNC fans remember you for is that dunk over Greg Paulus. Can you kind of take us through that moment?
I just remember it was a very intense game. I think it was my junior year, and obviously the rivalry was big every year. And every year it got even better. The competition, the guys that came in, the guys that we grew up with, we played against AU, and some of the guys we disliked. Greg Paulus from New York, but I remember we had a drill. We'd always have a fast break drill, and coach would say never throw the ball backwards. But lucky for me, Marcus threw it back to me. But I was just thinking in my head, I'm gonna go up strong and make something happen. So I know they're gonna take a charge. They always try to take charges. So I'm just gonna try it, see what happens. Yeah, they take charges. Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna go up, and once I got there, it was a very intense time. I still was excited, but at the same time I knew we were trying to win the game, so I was still focused on just continue to play good basketball. And so it was a big time game, a lot of fun to play in, and it was probably one of my best games of my college career.
What about like the aftermath of that and that moment? Because that picture's everywhere.
Yeah.
You Google UNC Duke.
I don't think I realized it at the time of how big of a moment it was until after, like years later, or now people still remember it, still post it, and still tag me in it.
Yeah.
They have T-shirts of it. It was kind of crazy. I seen somebody on campus with a T-shirt.
And it seemed bigger because people did not like Greg Paulus.
That too.
And you were very likable, and so it's kind of like the
said it was a very big highlight for me. I didn't get that much of attention TV wise or in the, I guess because I didn't start, so my senior year I wasn't that big of a name on college basketball. It was kind of more of a coming out party, or my name actually getting out there or getting some recognition just for a dunk. But I remember being on top 10. I think it was number 8, so I was a little disappointed in that. But so after the aftermath of it was kind of crazy and getting that attention. But obviously, social media wasn't as big then as it is now. But getting hit up so many different places, of people tagging or showing it here and there and talking about it. Still to this day, it lets me know how big of a play it was. And they showed me next to Jerry Stackhouse's, which is one of the greatest to ever do it. So
it's like the Montross blood. It's the Stackhouse.
And they have my play up in there, which is crazy because I watched those plays and watched those guys when I was a kid.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think another big moment was the dancing on the sideline.
Yeah, of course.
How that kind of originated.
The jump around.
Because that kind of spurned other players to do that now. You see it every year. You're kind of wondering who's going to be the dance guy. And I think that kind of started with you. What kind of started that? What was that like? And what was the attention you received from that?
Oh, man, it was a lot of fun. It started, obviously it was a team thing. We play the music for every game. I don't know if you know, Coach is a little superstitious, so he makes sure they play the music before every game. And we just had fun on the sideline as a team. And then every year, some guys would leave and some guys would start. I didn't start till my senior year, so a lot of those guys that I'd be dancing with on the sideline were gone or on the floor. So it was pretty much me dancing by myself, and everybody made it like a solo thing. But we had fun with it. A lot of guys jumped in and joined in, and then just carried on for years to come. So.
Copeland would pull your jersey.
Yeah, Mike, he wasn't much of a dancer, so he just watched and tried to hype up my dancing skills. He was my Flavor Flav of that era.
Exactly. And then 2008, 2009, you got the start when Marcus went out, and obviously that was a special team. Walk us through that season briefly and how special that was going into the championship and obviously winning in 2009.
Each year we would go further in the tournament, and obviously it sucked to lose. But we had great experiences. The year before we went to the Elite Eight, I believe, and lost to Georgetown. The junior year, going to the Final Four, losing to Kansas. And then, coming back, we had everybody come back. We knew we had a good shot at doing something special. We had experience. We had a team, a mold. We all knew each other very well. Marcus was hurt. He had the red shirt, which kind of sucked. I mean, I didn't want him to be hurt, but it opened up opportunity for me to start. But I still wanted him to play and be a part of that and experience that. Either way, he still got a ring, but I still wanted him to be a part of that team and play with us and said, win a ring with us. So, but I said it was just different. Our attitudes, our mentality, we had a chip on our shoulder. We came back knowing that we had something to prove and unfinished business, and we came back, went to the Final Four again, and ended up, beating Michigan State and Detroit.
And obviously, y'all kind of ran through that tournament. I think for the second game, when Lawson had a big game, that was the tightest game against LSU.
LSU was a tough one.
So, going through, what was it just like cutting on those nets, that moment on the court? Obviously, it's something not many college players get to feel, and you felt that.
Oh, man, it was very surreal, man. It said all our alumni in the stands, our parents in the stands. My dad being there, I didn't think he'd ever be able to catch me play in college again or see me play basketball again. Just to have our families and friends and our alumni there was a very special moment, man. And we all soaked it in and loved it. Had a great time. Even though Detroit, not that great of a city, especially after to try to party with, but we still had fun, man. We partied up in the hotel, and so it was a surreal moment.